We can correct this with a stronger edge. Let me repeat, the strong counter S must be carefully removed from the image, especially from the lighter areas. We thin out the etch with lint cloth, carefully, without applying pressure. We rest the graphed and chemically treated lithographic stone for another 24 hours. Depending on the format of the stone in the image, we prepare the lithographic press for printing. There are different types of printing presses, including an automated one. At the moment, we are using a manual press, model Krauss. First, we position the wooden oak bar with respect to the size of the stone. The bar is picked depending on the width of the stone and image. We make the registration marks on the press as their place corresponds to the format of the stone. To make the washing of the ink easier, we loosen and reapply the gumming film. The washing away of the oily lithographic ink for a second impression is done with turpentine and lint cloth. The movements are circular without pressure. Otherwise, we can ruin the thin layer of gum arabic. On the perfectly washed umbrook, or specially grazed ink, we spread the color. This is done very carefully as a preparation for color printing. The work with the rubber ruler is similar to the leather ruler. It is important to note that we only gradually overlay the drawing. Otherwise, we might add too much ink. With the rubber ruler, we can only add the ink to the image, unlike the leather ruler, which, as we saw, can also remove the ink. The cleaning of the edges and margins prior to every printing is essential. As we mentioned before, we will create a color print. To position the print of the stone to the center of a larger sheet of paper, we use an aluminum ruler. On the stone, we have marked the center of the image. We position the meta ruler so it coincides with the center of the drawing. We then carefully remove the paper and the ruler. We place the tin pan, a plastic piece used to help in aiding the process, which then slides along the leather belt of the wooden bar. We place the press table on the press mark. We grease the tin pan surface to lessen the friction from the bar. We press and slide along the stone. At last, after several days' work, we have the first impression. The preparation of the paper is a very important element in manual printing. The papers for a whole edition are formatted and cut in on a table. The preparation depends on a type of registration. At the moment, we demonstrate a preparation for 1 mark, or T, registration. First, we mark the midpoint of the edge of the paper, after which we carefully cut out a millimeter towards a right angle. We also make a T mark on the midpoint of the stone's edge. We do this for more precise positioning of the paper on the stone for multicolor lithography. Another way for registration is with pins. For this, 2 people are required. Before we print the first impression, we mark on the stone the points for the pinning. We also punch every print, after we have pressed the first color. Working with pins requires greater poise from the printer as well as from the assistant. We place the pins in the marked points. Every print is compared to the bonne-à-tirer, the artist's proof. The making of a lithography is a complex process, in which the relationship between painter-printer plays an important part. The printer must be prepared to assist and consult the painter on the reproduction of the artist's creative and unique ideas. Being a most complex graphic technique, lithography is also the most flexible, constantly evolving and adjustable to the boldest artistic design. This is the reason why a growing number of artists turn to it. The lithographic stone is capable of reproducing the subtlest of nuances, as well as sharpness of line. It can be applied to engraving, contact copying, and a number of other techniques. We can make handmade prints from other material as well, zinc, aluminum, marble, etc. All these materials are chemically conditioned, but the lithographic stone alone provides us with an unlimited set of possibilities to create fine graphic prints. I would be satisfied if this cursory review of the technique, so adequately fitting the elite style of the 20th century, would help you answer a simple question: how is a lithograph made?